Yes, guys. Today, we are the next FemTalk event, and I'm so happy that our FemTalk event guest is Sabina Imanova. Sabina, she's the female founder, yeah, and she's the founder of Blink Startup, which is the dating app. And I'm pretty sure that you're so excited about hearing some input, some details about the startup, about the app, and some of the questions we already have get. And my guest, my speaker today is Sabina. And also today we are going to we are going to speak together with my colleague, FemTech team member Fidan, and she also will be moderator in this talk. So Fidan, welcome to also to this event. I would like to give the speech to Sabina. Sabina, welcome. And thank you for accepting our invitation and your today you're being with us. And I would like to get information about generally our audience know about your shortly about you and your startup, but please give an information about you, your startup, general which kind of things you are doing.
Thank you for inviting Nazreen. It's a pleasure to join you. And I really appreciate that what you are doing, like pushing this female founders initiatives and kind of promoting female founders on your platform. I think, first of all, this is very important, especially in tech industry where female founders are misrepresented in most cases. And of course, we're facing a lot of challenges. So being like so united and helping each other, it's super important. So what you are doing is amazing. Keep doing that. When it comes to me and my startup, well, just to give a bit of background, so I've been living in Spain for almost 3 years. And right here in Spain, I started to use first the dating apps to connect with someone because initially it was hard for me. I didn't speak the language, and blending it in the local culture is a bit challenging. So for me, dating apps were the kind of bridge where I can connect with someone and meet someone new and kind of expand my network. So I started to use, let's say, Bumble was one of the dating apps that I've tried and used a lot. I could not use Tinder for a long time because for me that was overwhelming. And when I started to use these dating apps, I noticed that there were a lot of inefficiency in the process when people had to go through a lot of conversations, and sometimes the people are ghosted, and in other cases, you go through a lot of conversation, you seem that there is a connection, but then you meet the person in real life and you realize that it's not the same as it was on the app. So you waste a lot of time and effort in going through some process that at the end doesn't bring you like any joyful experience. And also, while being on these dating apps, I faced the situation when women receive a lot of inappropriate messages and kind of overwhelmed with inappropriate offers, which makes it feel unsafe when it comes to the experience of having the first date. And coming from all these negative experiences, I came up with an idea of creating a new app that kind of will tackle those problems and make it more safe and joyful experience, not only for women but for both genders. But because of the nature of the app, it also creates this safe playground for women to actually try more dating apps. And because right now most of the women are misrepresented in dating apps. If you look at the proportions, even there are like more men than female representatives. So in some cases it's 70 to 30, and only a few dating apps in the world has like the representation over 50%. And that's happened because women don't have the safe social platform playground or a dating app where they can meet someone without being harassed or without like getting inappropriate offers, being ghosted, and facing the situations when they have to waste a lot of time and go through unpleasant experiences in order to meet someone special. So that's how I came up with this idea of creating an app that allows people to connect when they are at some spot. So the app works only if you are at some public place, let's say restaurant, coffee shop, bar, gym, workspace, wherever you are, what your lifestyle preferences are. Based on that, you can check in and you can instantly connect with people who are at the same spot in a live mode. And that makes the whole experience different because in when everything is happening in public and in a live mode, we believe that that triggers a different behavior. So probably the encounters will be more gentle and more kind compared to what's happening on completely like online dating experience. And also we serve as a bridge that helps people to connect, and then they can take it face to face very fast because they're already at the same spot. So the idea here is to go against this long lasting experiences of swiping and talking to someone on the app and take it to the physical face-to-face contact initially very fast.
Thank you for giving detailed information. But I also would like to ask that one thing: what motivates, especially one thing you can mention that what motivates you start this kind of platform?
To change people's life or the way they connect with each other, I would say like that's one of the things, because I think with the dating apps we lost that human touch of like connecting and bringing like building the authentic connections. And when especially during COVID, people got isolated and we lost that skill of really connecting with someone face to face. So I think that's one of the key motivations that I have right now, is to bring back the live encounters and make it easier for people to connect with someone in the certain space.
Yeah, actually, the pandemic is the like one of the motivation for you. We can say, yeah.
Yeah.
So when you are creating this kind of platform, this kind of app, which kind of reactions have you met with in this process?
You mean from customers or?
Yeah, actually, the customers from your from your friends, from your family. I mean, from your colleagues from previous workplace.
Yeah. Well, from when it comes to the customers, colleagues, and friends, of course, like I got a lot of support because most of them have been tackling the same problem or have facing the same problem. So it's something that people really experience, and when they hear the solution, they are super open to try it. That's what I had as initial reaction, and that's what also feed like my desire and motivation to move that forward, because I know that there is a need on the market and that there are people who are looking to use the app and try it and connect with others in this new way. So this is just a new way of connecting with someone else. So mostly that was the positive. The negative part is that we're in the very competitive industry. So we're entering against the big players such as Tinder, Bumble, and they have a lot of course, like capabilities when it comes to the marketing and a lot of user base. And that's what like the negative part of it, what we hear is the reaction when it comes to like let's say approaching the investment. So this is the space where most of the investors try to not to enter because of the high competitive situation, and because of this let's say big players that are dominating the market. However, I still believe that there is a gap and need on the market, and the customers are the ones who will decide at the end. And there is, I always bring this methodology of or like I always bring the story of David and Goliath. Like David was big, well armed, and he had all the resources. Sorry, Goliath was big and well armed and had all resources to fight against David. David was small with no arms, but he still knew the weakest points that the Goliath had. So he had just hack that weak spot, and he could win the whole battle because of that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
So, hello, ladies. Welcoming you again. And thank you, Nazrin, just welcoming you, and also me as well, welcoming our guests. And that was a great app, really. I like it. Nazrin asked about the main challenge uh, on the way of the creating of this process. But I wonder about the main challenge about you have you encountered in your professional way till now.
The main challenge that you face, like when creating the startup, you mean? Or at what?
Just the way you have passed till now.
Okay,
I mean, in your professional way.
okay. Well, the main challenge is, of course, like first of all, to believe in that idea so much that you are ready to get out of your comfort zone and leave the corporate job where you have like stable income and you know how your life is going to be within the upcoming year or two. You even have like probably holidays planned after post covid, because you can plan the life. So going from that safe zone into like completely wild world, I would say, in a situation when you completely have no understanding what will the future be, and you're just living day by day, and just so passionate about the idea that you have to move, even if at the beginning, especially when you have no team and you have no funding and you are the only one who is moving this idea forward. It's super challenging, I would say, to to have this desire despite of the all obstacles that you face on your way. So I think that's one of the most important things that drives you forward, is like a blind belief in what you're doing. And the challenges are is that you are new on the market. You are offering something that might be super competitive or sound super competitive, so like not everyone can believe in that right away, so you have to prove that, and you have to do it step by steps. And the way to prove it is only if you deliver the certain results. So you deliver what you say, or you deliver what you promise. Another thing is, of course, to find the team that will fit the goals and missions that you have with your startup. And I think I got super lucky with that, because the idea and the whole mission of the company kind of pulled the right people on board, and they were so passionate about it that they started to be engaged even at the stage when I could not promise anything. Like we were not able to pay any salaries, and to give away any bonuses or promise anything stable at that stage. So I think like one of the challenges is to take it from zero to some point when you can show something tangible and attract the team members, and then start attracting some funding. Did it answer your question?
Absolutely, yes. Thank you.
Perfect.
And guys, I would like to announce one thing. If you have any questions to Sabina, you can write down to the comments, and at the end of the talk, we will ask your questions, and she will able to answer your questions. So we are continue with Fidan. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So I wonder one more thing about that. As we know, all the female founders encounter with a challenge and opportunities in their past, and you as well, and also with me as well, your speech and your life, let's say. So I wondered, what is being a female founder in your term? What can you advise or recommend to others who want to be just a real female founder in the future?
Well, that's like a very interesting question. I was thinking a lot about it. I think one of the things that you need to really understand when starting this journey is that it's you have to forget that you're a female, I would say, for some period of time, especially in the beginning, because the whole industry and the whole process of building up the startup is not designed, I would say, or not completely female friendly. And it's not designed if you're a mother or if you're like having the kids or raising the kids, if you're a single mom especially, like because it requires so much time and effort and it puts so much pressure that you just, the only way that you can compete with, let's say, people coming and other founders that are also competing for the investors' attention, for the talents and so on, is just to outwork them. So the only way that you can outwork them is to completely forget your, you know, I would say the fact that you're a woman and all the limiting beliefs that you have about that, like, you know, that women's are weak and, you know, you cannot, you are different than let's say male founders. So you have to kind of like completely leave that space blank and say, you know, I am my woman, he's the man. At some point, it's all about hard work, and I can do that. So you just learn a lot. Of course, you have to listen a lot, to learn a lot, to read a lot of information about what's going on in the ecosystem, understand which books would be useful in your case, depending on what your industry you are going for, what product you are developing. Find a good mentor. I would say that's also one of the important things that would guide you. And really not focusing on being a female, but I would say focusing on being a good founder, or the founder that can grow. And you know, what do we need in order to grow the startup? So, and of course, there are good things about being female, is that we are open and we are not scared to be vulnerable and ask for help. So I would say use that as much as possible, because people are, in most cases, are super willing to help if you really ask for it, and they're helping either with advice or if they can connect you with someone. So, and I think in most cases, even now, being a female founder can inspire a lot of people around, and they just can outreach you to, you know, to be there for you, to support you. But of course, there will be a lot of challenges because of the nature, like, or environment that we are in, and because of the different lifestyles that men and women have, or especially if you have kids. It does require a lot of dedication. So yeah, you need to kind of like focus on hard work, focus on your goals, and just go ahead no matter what. And at some point, forget about, like, you know, this inequality thing, and try to get there by just proving that you can do whatever you have put as a goal in front of you.
So thank you for a broad answer, but the touching point here was that just to forget about the being female, and I really appreciate.
Yeah.
And one thing I would like to also ask that, especially here, that some of the girls, they are interesting about that. Should anyone have a specific background for being an entrepreneur in tech?
I think no. I mean,
No.
say
Mhm.
you can be what you want at any stage
Mhm.
of your life if you just focus on what you really want to become. So, of course, it's easier if you have the tech background, because you understand the technology, and you can do a lot of things by yourself. So if you have, or an engineering background, if you're a coder, I would say that half of the things related to the product development in the beginning, at least,
Mhm.
or going through the MVP, can be done by yourself, which is easing the process, and you can do it faster and easier and cheaper. So that helps. But at the same time, I believe that, you know, my background is in literature. I did like my bachelor. So I think like now tech is more than just tech. It requires you to have this global and open mindset, and kind of blend in the creative thinking, blend in the art, even blend in marketing. So if you are particularly interested in like becoming a founder, the more well-rounded you are, the more experience you have across different specs, across different industries, the more skilled you are, and the more big picture you see at the end. Because at like in the beginning, yes, you need the skills, but then once you scale the company, you will need to have other skills on top of that. You cannot be just a technical person. You have to have like understanding of human emotions. You have to understand psychology a bit. You have to know what's marketing, what's sales. So wherever you come from, of course, like understand what's your strengths, use them in the beginning, and build up the skills that you're or bring up the team member that might be compensating the skill that you lack. For example, if you are want to become this tech co-founder and you don't have the tech background, maybe finding the team or the people that can help you to complement that skill will foster that process. But what I would say is that don't focus on the weaknesses, focus on the strengths, and then analyze your weaknesses, work towards overcoming them. But your strength will be something that will drive that forward. So like whatever you know, just implement that first and try to find what you can complement from others.
And now you are in Spain, you are in Madrid. And what did you push, encourage to move this country?
Well, honestly, I just it's happened randomly because I did my
Uh-huh.
MBA here at IE. So I studied 1 year in Madrid at IE Business School, and after I got an offer from the company in Madrid, and I worked because I wanted to also be in the startup ecosystem, and this company was focusing on growing the startups on European market. So this could be like this was an opportunity for me to switch my career from marketing to technology. And that's when during this 2.5 years I gained like the most experience of knowing more about the technology and the tech solutions. I did a bit of different roles in that company, from business development, strategy, go to market, and advisory roles. So that helped me a lot to kind of like bring this solid understanding of how tech works. And that's like pretty much it. So I stayed 2.5 years in the company, and then I started to work on my own venture, and that's like just happened in Spain. So that's how I ended up here. Um,
Good luck in your work. And actually, it's a long time, and most probably you have some community in there, some Azerbaijanis also there. Maybe you're talking with them about this topic. That what are the main differences between Azerbaijan and Spain's startup ecosystem?
well, honestly, I would be very open. I have not met anyone who is like within startup ecosystem. I know
Mm-hmm.
Azerbaijani people and community here. I've been present also in some events on the embassy and so on. But I didn't have a chance to connect with people who are doing startups in Azerbaijan. And but I know that I think what I would say is different from what I feel, because I know that there are some things happening in Azerbaijan when it comes, I think, to development of the local app ecosystem and so on. I would say that in Azerbaijan there are a lot of initiatives from the government and big companies to develop a certain type of the solutions when it comes to the like mobile apps, and making new experiments with banking and mobile, I think, technology. And in Spain, I would say that there are a lot of evolving B2B startups like that are linked to AI and blockchain technology. This is something booming now because there are a lot of big corporates here that demand this type of solutions, especially from banking and telecommunication industry and insurance industry. So I would say consumer startups are more focused. When we look at the consumer stuff, they're more focused in Barcelona. So, and that's mainly the delivery platforms and marketplaces. Whether in Madrid, we can see more of the focus of like B2B technology, heavy technology startups, because of the environment and the needs of the city to feed the big corporates that are based here. And I think also Madrid and Spain overall, I would say one of the differences is that because Madrid is in Europe, where they're more connected to the European tech hubs, also to the Silicon Valley tech hubs. And I think in Azerbaijan, that's still a challenge to be connected to the hubs. And this is something that the ecosystem needs to build up.
Yeah, yeah.
We're trying to identify how to connect to those
Mm-hmm.
hubs so that the founders can get the support when it comes to the mentorship, when it comes to the VC funding, even business angels, and kind of build up this whole process of doing that in more scalable way.
So, I would like give such a question. Does living in Spain give you a chance to launch your startup there, but also it foster facilitate your launch as a global? And I wonder what's expected from your startup in the future, or what awaits your startup in the future.
Yeah, that's a good question. So, yes, from one side, like being on the Spanish market is allowing to be connected with the local ecosystem, but at the same time, we do not consider that this is the only market that we want to be. It just we're two of us, of our co-founders, me and another co-founder on the board. We are based in Madrid, so it's just easier for us to control it because in the beginning, when you are launching a new startup, it's very important to try it on the local market and to try it in a small environment where you can control that by yourself. And there is a lot of things that you need to do that on the local basis, like agreement with the partners, like finding the influencers, and like understanding how to tackle the local market. So that requires your presence, and testing it on this market is one of our first initial goals. But then once we have the enough users that will allow us to run this trial in Spanish market, we plan to expand to other cities as well in Europe. So we're looking for London apparently as one of the opportunities, because dating apps and overall social network apps are super growing there fast, and there is this huge diverse environment there that accepts the new apps and try them in like in a more scalable way. And we're also even looking in Istanbul, because dating app market is growing a lot in Turkey recently, and we're seeing a huge opportunity there because of the this market is emerging, and there are some local apps that have been popular in Istanbul as well. So we believe that there is an opportunity there. So I would say starting locally, but then scaling city by city is something that we will be looking for, and these are our next like plans for the upcoming few years.
Um, and generally, you talked the future perspectives of the Blink, and uh, what about the no? What is the current status at supply demand curve of Blink?
Well, the
Generally, we can touch the Spain audience. Generally, in global, I don't know that in Azerbaijan how's the situation. The people are no, they're no actually about the startup or not.
No, I don't think so, because we have not really
Mhm.
done any, like, I would say, like marketing or PR that would take it out from the local ecosystem. Of course, we have some connections in the US that know about the app, and we have been in talk with some people in the US that have been interested in the product itself. But mainly we're now we have not been really focusing on making the startup like super famous, or like giving that brand exposure, because as I said, we are at the very early stage, and right now for us the initial goal is to run the pilots and get the first customers on board, try the product, see the reaction on the market, and from there we can decide, okay, this we're building the expansion strategy. Because in the beginning it's very important to be very focused on local community and local market, to try there, and then once you have the market validation, of course, depending on how you're going to expand, that's how people will know on each city or each country about the app. I don't think that I didn't do any effort in making the brand recognizable in Azerbaijan. Although I think like it's a good opportunity for Baku as well in the future. I hope that it will be the place where the app can be used and become popular. However, right now we have been only within Spain, and I would say even like only in the two cities, Madrid and Barcelona. And yeah, and when it comes to the stage, we're at the pre-launch stage.
And one of the questions that our from our audience that are you feeling any pressure as a male founder?
I would not say pressure, I would say unconscious biases. It's
Uh-huh.
you do have that, and you do feel that a lot, and even people don't notice that.
Mm-hmm.
They might have that in their body language, in the feedback that they give, in the way that sometimes the reaction towards what you're doing and how you're doing. It can be that you feel that a lot, and the only way to overcome that would be just like to dismiss it, and to just put your targets, achieve that, deliver, and that's how you can prove that it's not different. You are
Mm-hmm.
not different from the male founders. The only thing is that as a female founder, you always have to deal with a lot of males when it comes
Yes.
to like
Yes.
being in that ecosystem. And it's kind of like you have to understand or the game or the way that they agree and communicate with each other, or the way that they do things, and it might be completely different from you. Because for example, in a long in the whole history of fundraising and how the deals happened, for example, when it comes to the startup ecosystem, is that males agreeing with another male, but when they're having a drink in the gentleman club, and that's how, like, they get to know each other and or play golf together. So this is the part of the game that you cannot enter as a woman, especially me, that I'm having a child and I have completely different lifestyle. So I go to bed very early, and I don't have the time or the patience to go and like attend this after 9 p.m. drinks or so on. Of course, that is changing more and more, because there is a huge feminine move in the US, both from the VCs and founders side, when they're trying to push equal opportunities for both genders when it comes to accessing the funding, especially. But still, as I say, you do feel that it might be easier when you're a male to get access to that, or to get agreement with someone, because you know already how it's done. Whether when you're a female, you're figuring out on the way, and it's like being in the dark room and just like being among different objects, and the only way to define that is to touch them and understand, okay, what works and what doesn't work. So for me personally, cold approach works a lot, like connecting with people on LinkedIn. When from my comfort, when I'm at home, even with my child, I can write the email. So that approach worked best for me, versus like me going and meeting someone personally after 9 p.m. Or working or doing something together, like a sport activity. Like that doesn't work for me. It doesn't fit my lifestyle.
And one approach is on social media, where especially in last days, we see that not a female founder, just founder. What do you think about it? Like this approach, about this
I
approach?
I would agree that, like, I think I think we need to talk about the challenges that female
Mm-hmm.
founders have, and as I said, the unconscious biases are one of them. But many men, when they give that feedback, or they don't realize it, it's just there because they have been the society have been worked and functioned in the same way for some time, that um, you can get the feedback that sometimes is super harsh on you to digest, because you realize that there is that bias there, like, and other people that were just in front of you, they didn't receive the same feedback, and why so I have heard the situations that were like, I was on the pitch, for example, when I received the feedback that I should go and approach someone who knows me personally for funding. And that sounded like, as you know, I don't have the right to be on that stage and ask for from funding from a professional investor or a VC and so on. But I also realized that it might be something that they say without understanding it. So our role is to talk about those unconscious biases, to embrace them and to push for changes or make them realize and self-reflect about that. However, at some point, I hope that we get to the point when there is no need to say female founder and you can be just a founder as equal as male founder, because we don't say male founder, we just say founder. So but that work has to be done.
And thank you for this explanation.
Yeah.
And know your the some time some it's a long time that you are in Madrid, and are you somehow connected to Azerbaijan startup ecosystem currently? And it can be like investment side or with some collaboration with the local startups, Azerbaijan local startups.
With startups, no, but I'm connected with, I am in conversation with some investors from Azerbaijan. And of course, like this is like an initial support that I have received were coming from the people from Azerbaijan, and some of them live in Baku, some of them don't. And this is something that I appreciate a lot because it's kind of like shows that they really believe in you despite of like, of the craziness of the idea of the market that you're tackling, because they believe in your energy, they believe in your capabilities, and these are the first people that are kind of like blindly and unconditionally support you in this. And I think that uh, until where I got, I would have not got without the support of people that I know from Azerbaijan, my initial network of strong people that, I have bonds with and who know me personally a lot and who know me professionally. So from that perspective, I do. But when it comes to startups, I didn't have a chance to connect with anyone in the startup ecosystem when it comes to the partnerships and collaborations. But of course, like I'm open to that, and I hope that we can do that more in the future.
Okay, and I also would like to give one extra question that me as well and you as well as a female really encounter such kind of the challenge again and again. And as you said, unconscious or conscious bias, some other living conditions, something like different issues just restrict women's, let's say females, just to start their ideas to. And I would like to know that what kind of the advice you can address the females who want to just start their professional path, because in sometimes that those the biases get them make them discouraged just to find a start. And so I wonder that what was your suggestion to them?
I think I would suggest that um, I left my comfort zone like a lot when I moved to Madrid, and starting like that was already like leaving the comfort zone from Baku to Madrid, and also switching from one, let's say, from marketing to technology and working there. Like being here with my child alone, that was like a lot already on my plate, and starting a startup within these conditions was like adding up on that. So that made it, the journey is very, very harsh for me personally, because it's requires like it, like I would say that there were times when I had to give up on many things, and push that no matter what. So my advice would be, try to start where you have the network support, and like locally, if you have someone that can support you from different perspective, like when it comes, because founders journey is like crazy, today you have something, tomorrow you don't have that. Today you have a flat, tomorrow you don't have that, because it all like moves in this unplanned way. And you might have that in mind that This will be, when you have the job, you know that by this time you will receive the money and you will be able to make this and this and this purchase or arrange this and this and this. When you're in the founder shoe, you have to have this backup. So if you can stick to the place in the beginning, at least, where you have this backup or people who can are ready to support you no matter what at that moment of very, very beginning when you're doing the first steps, I would say stick to that place. And then once you already started and you kind of already have the first investment and you tried the product and you're about to leave the comfort zone, you can go anywhere in the world. And that's don't think that you only can start when you are in Silicon Valley. That's not true. You don't have to be in Silicon Valley to start something. You can start locally. You can do something for your local community, try it, and then once you start scaling on top of that, you can leave and try another market. It will just make it easier, I would say, at least in the beginning. And when it comes to facing unconscious biases, I mean, you will have that. Your parents will not support you probably because people are not, and especially in our culture, girls are not supported to be so independent, and you already when you work you are considered as independent, but when you go to the next step of starting a startup, which is basically being in this chaotic space, you will not get a lot of support maybe from your parents. But you have to understand them, they want the best for you, and of course they just worried. So maybe kind of dismissing that pressure is very important, and just believing that you can do it anyway, even if no one supports you. And find someone who supports, even if your parents don't, but you have friends that will probably support you. You have girlfriends that will support you. Maybe you will find a mentor, anyone you can connect with who will support you. And it might be someone across the globe on the other part of the world. Digital channels made it possible. But I would say, yeah, just don't take it personally. Take a step back, just understand that it's the part of the culture. People are worried, they wish the best, but sometimes they will put the limiting beliefs on you, so you just need to detach from that.
Thank you. Those are encourage me too. And that was a pleasure for me to make a discussion on this topic. Thank you, Sabina, just answering my questions.
Thank you, Fidan. It was a pleasure.
And for Sabina, it was great, being talking with you. Thank you for accepting our invitation, and also I am sure our audience also enjoyed from this talk. And I would like to wish good luck in your startup, pre-launch startup, and maybe after your launching, after some of the steps, again we can meet and we can talk the next steps for the startup perspective, from the startup perspectives. So guys, the one FemTalk, end of the one FemTalk event. Next week we will meet again for the another topic, and we will announce it today. So stay tuned, and thank you for your participation. Bye bye. See you next day.
Thank you, Nazreen. Thank you, Fidan.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Ciao. Bye.